That's what we're doing, Gilded Age. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. You guys, after last night's episode, I'm not okay. On Back to Talk, the Gilded Age Season 3, Episode 6. You got to break some eggs to make omelets. Listen, we had gone through a lot this episode. A lot of ups and downs, twists and turns. We've been over there with everybody in this episode. Oscar is excited about this new opportunity, this big meeting that John Adams has set up for him. You know, his man. He says, I just want to thank you. You've been my savior. Next thing we know, wild horses and a cart full of fruit takes out John Adams. He's dead as a doornail, y'all. He's dead as a doornail, laying on the ground in a fruit salad. Talk, because I'm verklempt, y'all. I don't have words. The Gilded Age and all of the Gilded Agedness has never done this. This was a moment. This was revolutionary. This was nothing I have seen or would have expected over here. The writers are saying, what did we do last week? Let's do better. What did I do the week before? Let me do it twice as good. This episode, you guys, it is just improving week over week over week. And now we only have 2 episodes left. I had to come. We have to have this moment. And let's take a moment of silence, y'all, for Oscar's man, Mr. John Adams, who lived a life clean, a gentleman, if you will, a man who wasn't willing to drag a woman down, decided to stay true to himself until the very end. A devout man. A man of reason and logic, a man who spoke truth to Oscar in a time where Oscar didn't want to hear no damn truth. You hear me? A man gone too soon, a man who didn't deserve it, and the only somebody who loved Oscar, probably the only somebody who will ever love Oscar, if I can be honest. But you guys, we're about to get into it. Get it, don't be timid when you ain't it, love upon it, give along, need it. My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? Oh, come on in, you guys. We are talking Gilded Age, Season 3, Episode 6, Something About an Omelette was the title of this episode. Let's get into it. We were all over the place. The episode opens up and we see big bad-eyed Bertha has made it to Europe to check on Gladys because now she got some chutzpah. We also find out that while she goes there, Mr. Russell checks into the hotel. He said he wasn't going to be home when she got back. But how long you going to stay there, Mr. Russell? You know, that's the question that needs answers. But Bertha made it, and Sister Cersei is all in the Kool-Aid. What are you doing here? Why are you here? What do you need? How can I help you? And Bertha's like, I didn't come to see you. I came to see my child. All right? Because you clearly have been doing too much. Bertha's acting like she knows Hector at this point, having a pep talk with Gladys. You know, you have to endear yourself to him. You mean to tell me he's not standing up to his sister for you? Why would he, Bertha? Why would he, Bertha? And this is where we get the moment where she tells Gladys, you know, in order to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs, giving her the courage and putting the battery in her back to get the house in order. Because now, after all, she is a duchess, okay? And she's got the power. JP Morgan has invited everyone over, Meryl, Russell, Clay, Russell's ex, you know, employee, I'll say that. And they're all over there. And basically what it felt like to me, and again, the conversation was a bit skewed and I haven't had a chance to go back and really dive into it. But at this point, we need a 51% stake in the railroad. I won't call it a coup or a hostile takeover, but it's like they want a piece, right? And so as a result of this meeting, Clay is telling the other businessmen, like, listen, you know, I know they shook on this deal when they get back to New York. Russell is the bank's savior. He's got the opportunity and ability to do this, only him. But Clay is like, he's stretched. He ain't got no bread. He spent all that money on the Duke. He's all up to his ears in the railroad. And my thing is, Russell, you shouldn't have fired Clay. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's what he should have done. Russell has been moving very hastily, and I'm very interested about what the result is going to be on the business. Don't forget, guys, we will be live to talk about this. I'll have a chance to watch it again before tonight's live, but you guys let me know. What do you think of the business proposition, the handshake we made between JP Morgan Chase, Russell, and the other bank guy? I'm very interested. And like I said, Clay knows so much. I think they're going to do maybe like a run on the bank again, or like a call, basically just to see what he has in his hand, if he's actually able to subsidize all of this. But it'll be very, very interesting. Oscar tells Miss Brooke about Maud Beaton, and this actually starts, Marian on a quest. A quest for information, because Larry, the man who was slinging dingling all last summer in Newport, couldn't have been in a house of ill repute. Marian was on my nerves last episode. She was on my nerve. She's asking Oscar. She's asking Jack. She's asking everybody she can about that night at Delmonico's. And of course, we know they wasn't at nobody's Delmonico's, but she can't stop herself, y'all. And it just is really crazy. I was like, this is how you guys want to bring her out? After hiding and putting her light under a bushel for this last season, this is what you guys want to do with Marian's character? Make her insecure and strange? I get it. It's a house of ill repute, but to move so drastically without even knowing what is going on, you haven't talked to him. Talk to your man. Talk to your man. So, she goes through all the steps. She goes and calls the aunties and is like, listen, I'm breaking up with him. Agnes is like, good. I told you so. Ada, coming in as the voice of reason, God forbid, basically is like, what are you thinking about? Talk to him first. Don't make any rash movements, but she could give a whole damn. She could give an entire damn. She is running up and down the streets, blaring it from the rooftops. And ultimately, by the end of the episode, she actually leaves a letter with the footman over at the Russell house, basically breaking it off. She's done. She's even told Miss Peggy that, because, honey, she feels like she was just so wrong. Now, while I think Larry is a degenerate, we know that night he did nothing wrong. And the people go, the men go to the shake jumps. What you want? What you want, girl? Did you want him to tell you? He probably didn't want to disgrace your ears with the fact that he frequents the Haymarket. But anyway, I digress. Moving on along, Armstrong is such a hater. And she's saying she doesn't know why Jack is allowed to stay. She gets into the room with Agnes and tells her he made $300,000. And immediately Agnes is like, is there even a God? I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. And they really want me to hate Agnes. I'm not quite there yet, y'all, but I'm on the verge, because how could you be unhappy about this young man's come up in the world? He's improved his station. That's what the American dream was supposed to be all those years ago, right? But yeah, she's just miserable. And basically Ada comes to the fact that Jack has got to go, right? We need to have a conversation. It's just not fitting. He's wealthier than everybody else. He can buy them twice over. He needs to move on. And he's like, this is the only family I've known. I was very surprised later in the episode. We actually see Agnes surprised that he's leaving, not realizing that Ada's had this conversation with him. I really thought it was going to be Agnes that wanted him immediately out of the house, but apparently it was Ada. Now, while I don't like it, I do think this will be for his best. I feel like he's level-headed. He's got sense. He's got, integrity. He has moral character from what we've seen so far. I think he will be fine. I just really need someone in his life to offer him good guidance. That's my biggest concern for him and how he's going to move forward in the world. But Jack, you've got this, and he better not be gone from the show. We better still continue to see him at least every other episode, right? I want to see Jack. Jack's my baby boo. I need to make sure that he's good. Bertha and Sister Cersei now back in Europe, and they are at it. Sister Cersei is like, did your mother put you up to this, Gladys? Because Gladys now, she want to plant a grove. She's going to design her own clothes. She want to hire her own staff. She wants to do all of the things because her mama, like I said, put that battery pack in her back. And Sister Cersei is like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You're coming in here and you're disrupting everything. And Bertha's kind of letting her know, Gladys is the Duchess. All right, sister? You don't run anything over here but your mouth anymore. And I'm really hoping that this will have lasting power. I just know Gladys is so frail sometimes. I really hope that she can stand up. I really hope that she can be brave, because it's different when you have backup. When you got Big Bertha there, looking over your shoulder and being there, as your backup. You feel a little bit more empowered. But what happens when she goes back home? Because by the end of the episode, Bertha does have to leave, but Gladys is making strides. I'm going to do what I want to do, and let's figure out about getting my maid back. All right. And Hector seems to be on board. But again, that's at the behest of a Bertha. Now that Sister Cersei's going to be back in his ear and possibly sitting on it, because y'all already know, I think this is an incestuous situation. We shall see. Let's see. We talk about Bertha again and Sister Cersei's against suffragist rights. And this is when we have the moment where she tries to excuse the ladies from the table, and Gladys is like, "Are you sick?" And Sister Cersei says, "Why would I be sick?" "Oh, you must be sick because I'm the Duchess. I excuse the women. You don't do that." Hector said, "You were wrong. You don't." She sat back down. Baby, listen, it's going to be up from here. I think it's going to get very ugly. At the end of the day, Sister Cersei has lived there her whole life. She's been running that household, that staff. Unless Gladys can make some really quick and powerful moves, I think it's going to be war in the house. But y'all, we shall see. Agnes's obsession with money, and Marian is obsessed with Delmonico's. We already kind of got into that more. Peggy is back. Finally, we get Peggy in the scene, and she's just gotten back from her trip, and now it's like, okay, I need to level set. She's talking to Marian, is like, I have to tell him. And Marian's like, leave it for me. You need to operate in full transparency and truth. Tell him everything, blah, yada, 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 yada. And so finally we see Peggy and Dr. Kirkland sit down, and Dr. Kirkland said, ignorance is bliss. I don't want to know. Keep it on the low. You know what I mean? I don't want to know. That's what he's basically saying. And my thing is, you need to know. You need to know before your mama comes and tells you. Because like I said in my short video on TikTok, I really feel like Mama Kirkland will hire the Pinkertons to find out all about Peggy's past. We have to put it out on the table. And I get it. She told him about Mr. Fortune, but that wasn't really the deepest thing of it all. At the end of the day, Mr. Fortune was a cad, a scoundrel, a married man who really just wanted his way with Peggy Scott. And I think Dr. Kirkland recognized that. He says the onus is on him. He's the one that's a married man, not you. And so when Peggy goes in to talk about the marriage, the child, all of that, he cuts her short and says, I just know I like you. I don't need to know anything about that. Also, by the way, can you invite my mother to this suffrage rights party that you're having? Your mama want to come to the suffragist rights party? Well, she likes tea. All right. So like, you trying to make me chum it up with your mama. Fine. Peggy says, I'll invite her. We get to the party. And of course, these are all women who are concerned about the Black woman's right to vote as well. And Mama Kirkland gets in there and is like, we should be focused on our husbands and what the Lord is saying to us. Let's focus on their vote, not ours. And Peggy's like, we can focus on ours, and theirs. I want the vote. And, we basically hear her just kind of coming back against everything they're saying. I'm just more worried about my husband and my children. And I would think that's what a mother would want to. Where are your children? The woman says, my children are grown now. So I got time, space, energy, and opportunity. Well, I just think we should be focusing on the men, and that's how she feels. And of course, Peggy doesn't agree. By the end of it, we do see a conversation with Mama Kirkland and Dr. Kirkland on their way out in the carriage. And she's like, you respect a woman who has these beliefs and wants to fight for it, but not a wife. Peggy's not your wife, darling. Peggy's not your wife. She's doing too much is what it gave. Now, I had high hopes for Dr. Kirkland last episode. Alone with his mama in his ear, y'all, I don't know what he's going to do. I really, really don't. And I hate that because I really want the best for Peggy. And I know she really, really enjoys him. She loves his company and he has a lot of good sides to him. I just wonder if the pressure from his mother will be too much. Y'all drop it in the comments and let me know what you think about that. Peggy goes and meets Mama Scott and they're talking and she's like, his mama's not the only one with concerns because Peggy's basically like, I'm too dark. I have too many thoughts. I'm too active. I'm too vocal, and all of these things for her. And of course, Mama Scott is like, well, we don't necessarily like them for you either. Like, we love that you like Dr. Kirkland. He seems like a nice man, but it's not just about him. It's about the family. And I think Peggy will have to ponder that and really figure out what they want to do. Larry has made it to the damn Oregon Trail. He is out in Arizona, and he's meeting with the metallurgist, who is basically giving him a report of the mines. Again, we were focused on the land, not the mines, but come to find out there's copper. There is copper and minerals there that will make them even richer, as if the Russells needed any more money. Clearly they do right now, because again, Russell is spread too thin. He ain't liquid and can't find no money, but we'll get to that. And so Larry's like, the metallurgist, like, you got to make the deal, Mr. Russell. So now we know Larry's very money motivated. I think he's going to close this deal. And I think it always works out for the Russells, right? Unless they just completely subvert our expectations on this, you know, it's going to be a done deal, and they're going to do right. We do confirm this episode that Jack has his full 300,000. He did get it, and now he's packing up to leave. But before he goes, he leaves everyone with a package with money, way more money than they invested, and, you know, notes to everyone. He loves them. This has been his family. He'll never forget them. I love that for him. Ada finds out that her necromancer is a fake and a fraud, calling that man Luca Forte. He actually went by Luke. He only went by Luca in the paper. And it's like, oh, you've been reading the paper. That's how you found and clocked my tea. Absolutely, Ada. Glad you got some sense. She breaks down. Miranda's very, you know, the tears. Comes to Agnes. Agnes consoles her because, again, Agnes is always right, right? Every season, it comes down to it, for better or worse. Agnes be knowing. Now, Agnes might have the gift. She might have a sight. I don't know. Between Oscar and Maud Beeman, and we find out it's what I thought all along, which was Crowther, the man that she was working for, was really the mastermind, and she was just a pawn. After they got all the money, he ditched her, and that's why she's hoeing at the Haymarket. All right. You know, she says she dresses nicely because she gets more money. Oscar is like, well, we got to figure out what to do with Crowther. And he's very angry at first. I was like, is he going to bust her over the head with this candlestick? But he didn't. And so now we are just kind of looking at what the future is going to be. Later in the episode, we see him go back to Maud Beeman, and he's like, listen, Maud Beaton. Am I saying Beeman? Beaton, whatever. Y'all know her name. Somebody will correct me in the comments. And so we're there, and he's basically like, here's a bus ticket, and here's $100. Start over fresh, have a new life. You know, at one point I was going to marry you. You knew that your intentions was to ruin her life as much as she was going to steal your fortune. So I think that was a fair exchange. But my question was, immediately when I saw this, I was like, oh, he must about to get tuberculosis and die. Because this redemption tour, this redemption arc is crazy. That would never be anything Oscar would ever do. But apparently he's learned something from John Adams. We'll see. We'll see. We also get tea that there is a mole in the Russell house, which we've already known when the Duke was there, when Gladys was in hiding. All of that was getting leaked to the press. So now it's like, who is the mole on the inside? So we do see the staff talking about that a little bit more. Bertha says goodbye and has a combo with Hector and a warning. Like, listen, you want everything to stay sweet and all of this in your household and with Gladys, cherish her. Treat her like your priority, all right? Now, at this point, everybody's going scorched earth. We saw Marian go scorched earth, honey. She done dropped off the letter to the Russell household, breaking up with Larry. Just, again, certified crash out. They said that in the Discord last night, and I couldn't agree more. Marian is officially a certified crash out, because there's no way you breaking up with this man and he's hundreds of miles away. And you don't even know what happened. You just never really wanted him, Marian, and it's okay. Just say that, because I'm not his biggest fan, because I really feel like he's very familiar with the Haymarket and he might be a degenerate. But again, she knew he was smashing the widow. Like, you knew he was a dingling slinger. So I don't know what the shock and awe is all about. Mr. Russell says, listen, before I sell my company or do that, I'll burn it down to the ground. What does that mean? We'll have to wait and see. It felt like scorched earth. It felt like I'm I'll burn this down. That's what it felt like to me. Oscar has made good with the investment. We see him and John Adams, and, you know, John's like, I'm proud of you. You did the right thing by Maud. You know, you're growing so much. And he's like, it's because of you. You've really been my savior. The investment went well. I can't wait for this new meeting we're having with this other guy, a new potential investor. And John Adams like, I'm proud of you. And Oscar says, you have been my savior. My man, my man, my man. They're gazing longingly on the street. And he's like, all right, I'll see you in a few days. Baby, why just after that, a fruit cart, wild horses, run him down in the street. And when I tell you he's laid out dead as a doornail, he's gone. John Adams is gone. There is no help. There was no ambulance. There was no 911. He's a goner. It was a split second, y'all. I did not expect this to happen. The only good somebody. He was so pure and so kind and so loving. Y'all heard my eulogy in the beginning of this live, but y'all, that was the episode. I was sad. Don't forget tonight, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. We will be talking all things The Gilded Age, Season 3, Episode 6. It was a good episode, y'all. It was good. Anyway, if you haven't already, subscribe. What are you doing? Hit the notification bell, all notifications, so you don't miss a thing. And like and leave a comment below. That helps. That helps me so much. But I love you much, and I will see you guys in the next video.